Hello everyone. Hope you might have gone through eubacteria. In this class, I will be giving you a detailed description of kingdom Protista, which comes under 5 kingdom classification. They are unicellular eukaryotes. They forms a link with kingdom fungi, plantae and animalia. They are primarily aquatic. They reproduce asexually and sexually. Most of them are aquatic, forming plankton. Mode of nutrition may be photosynthetic, saprophytic, parasitic, or holozoic. Kingdom Protista is divided into 5 groups. They are chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, and protozoans. Chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, and euglenoids choose photosynthetic protists, while slime molds are saprophytic protists. Protozoans are predator or parasitic. So let's see the first group under Protista, that is chrysophytes. They are photosynthetic, they are freshwater and marine. Another group of organisms that comes under chrysophytes are desmids. They are unicellular. As you see in the diagram, they are divided by a narrow bridge. They are in two symmetrical shapes. As you can see, they are separated by two compartments. Nucleus is located in this bridge. Each compartment has a large folded chloroplast for photosynthesizing. Another group of organisms are diatoms. They are the chief producers in the oceans. They form cell wall. In diatoms, cell wall forms two thin overlapping cells which fit together as in the soap box. You can see I have drawn and kept there. The upper layer is termed as epitheca while the lower layer is termed as hypotheca. When this organism dies, the only thing remaining is its cell wall. When it accumulates, it forms diatomaceous earth. This diatom cell wall can even pick up small impurities in these liquids. You can see in the above picture the diatomaceous earth. When they are piled up at the bottom of the water reservoirs, it will be forming a big heaps that is termed as diatomaceous earth. And the next one we are going to see is of dinoflagellates. The next organism that comes under protist are dinoflagellates. They are photosynthetic and marine. They appear to be green because of the pigment chlorophyll. They appear to be yellow because of the pigment beta carotene. They appear to be golden brown because of the pigment xanthophyll. In this picture, the glowing blue color of the water is due to the presence of bioluminescence. It is really a beautiful sight. It is said that they escaped from the predators by the process of bioluminescence. Gymnorium and goniolax grow in large number in the sea and make the water look red and cause the so-called red tide. That process is termed as the red tide. They produce toxic. It's harmful for the organism that is present in the sea, including fishes. Nautilica scindolens exhibit bioluminescence. The next organism that which we are going to learn is of euglenoids. Example, euglena. They are euglena like unicellular flagellates which possess pellicle instead of cell wall, which makes their body flexible. They have two flagella, one short and another one long. The long flagella is used for the movement and the another one acts as photoreceptor. Example for euglenoids are euglena and perenniema. They exhibit two types of mode of nutrition, autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic prepare their own food with the help of sunlight, while heterotrophic absorbs nutrients from the surrounding. And the next one we are going to learn is about slime molds. They are saprophytic protists and feeds on decaying twigs and leaves. Under favorable condition, they form an aggregation called plasmodium, which produces fruiting bodies bearing spores. The cell wall of spores contains cellulose. The spores are dispersed by the air currents. Example for these are Physarum and Fuligo. If the conditions are favorable, when it is drought, some cells of this plasmodium turns into fruiting body that is termed as sporangia, and some other cells will turn into spores. Spores are formed at the tips of the sporangia. Spores causes true walls. They are extremely resistant and survive for years even after the conditions are unfavorable. But when the conditions are favorable, the spores germinate into slime mold and the life cycle continues. Now let us see the last group, that are protozoans. All protozoans are heterotrophs and live as predators or parasites. They are considered as primitive relatives of animals. They are aquatic. They are divided into four. Based on the locomotion, they are divided mainly into four: amoeboid, flagellated, ciliated, and sporozoans. Amoeboid movement with the help of pseudopodia, flagellated with the help of flagella, ciliated with the help of cilia, and the sporozoans are not having no special organs, but they will be having a gliding movement. The first one, let us see the first one, amoeboid movement. Amoeba is an unicellular organism found in fresh water. Amoeboids move and capture the food by pseudopodia with the help of pseudopodia. They can extend the pseudopodia and they can engulf the food. That is a process termed as phagocytosis. Some are parasitic, and example for parasitic are Entamoeba histolytica. Now let's see the flagellated protozoans. They are free living or parasitic. The parasitic forms diseases. Example, trypanosoma cause sleeping sickness. Their sleeping cycle is disturbed in the affected people. That's what the term sleeping sickness has come. Next is of ciliated protozoans. Ciliated protozoans are aquatic, having cilia all over the body for the movement. They are aquatic. As you can see in the above diagram, the example for the ciliated protozoans are Paramecium. Food is taken inside through the gullet. Thousands of cilia move together and engulf the food, and food is engulfed through the oral groove, and food is digested through the food vacuole, and the waste is thrown out through the body anal pore. The next one, the last one, that which we are going to learn are sporozoans. They are sporozoans because it forms spores. They are not having flagella, but they shows a gliding motility. Sporozoans includes organisms that have infectious spore-like stages in their life cycle. They are parasitic and pathogenic. Example for the sporozoans are Plasmodium vivax that causes malaria in humans. Some of you will be confused because I have used two places Plasmodium, one in slime mold and another one in sporozoan. What are the differences between these two? The Plasmodium in slime mold are multinucleate, while the Plasmodium in sporozoans are uninucleate. And the second difference is Plasmodium in slime mold are saprophytic, while Plasmodium or sporozoa are parasitic. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Let's see you in the next class. Have an amazing day.